Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. While we're on the subject of TV and entertainment, I thought it was a perfect time to address one of the more ridiculous things I hear brought up pretty much on a consistent basis. That is, television somehow causes violence. Now, I will admit, there are some select cases where somebody watches a TV show, your Bugs Bunny, your, Roadrunner, whatever the heck you have today, and they decide they're going to go out and recreate it. But that's pretty rare. I mean, the Beatles wrote songs for over a decade, and only one Charles Manson appeared out of that. But I decided it was worth doing some research into. I found out that they did a study on babies, and it was a pretty well-constructed study. In that study, they showed a puppet show, where there are two puppets. One acted nice and happy, and the other one acted unpleasant and angry. Something babies can relate to, because they know nice and not nice. And when given a choice between the two puppets, almost all the babies chose the one that was polite and asked nicely and all that kind of things. Babies kind of know automatically what's good for them. I decided to take that a step further. Now, my 9-year-old has never been exposed to the Pink Panther in her life. And the Pink Panther, that famous universe where guns and bombs do nothing except inconvenience you. Want to stand in the middle of the minefield? It's just going to make you jump all over the place. Now, the Pink Panther is a little bit of a strange character. He's neither quite a good guy nor a bad guy. Not a protagonist, not an antagonist. And I showed her a couple episodes, and she wanted to know if he was related to the Black Panther, which I thought was pretty funny. But I didn't show her that. Just, good association. And after we watched all that, she turned back over to her iPad and continued doing whatever the heck it was that she was doing. So far, she hasn't terrorized anybody with a big nose. She hasn't planted any bombs, and she hasn't gone after anybody with a gun. She's been playing whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't really hover over her when she's playing video games. And she's very happy to play Among Us, for example, among other things. But in Among Us, she's never been tempted to try to kill people and take over the ship. It's just not her way. So when I see this, I see the evidence before my very eyes, and trust me, her mother and I do watch what she's watching. She had something on the other day, and I forget what it was, because I tore her iPad out of her hand and blocked it, but it was lyrics of a song about how you should kill yourself. And while I'm not really a firm believer that TV shows and stuff influence you, that's a really sensitive topic for me. I've had a few people in my life who decided life was no longer worth living. And I know with my daughter being a minority and in the cruel world that we are, I'd like to avoid addressing that as long as possible. Keep it out of her psyche. Because unfortunately, suicide is a real issue. I'm probably going to get demonetized on that, but I was never monetized to begin with, so suck it, YouTube. What I want to show with this ramble is that children are not as influenced by TV as we think they are. But adults are. Remember that TV show Jackass? I watched like 5 minutes of an episode and said, "This is not for me." I have all sorts of ways to watch people do stupid stuff. But the fact is, people tried to copy it. It's people, not children. If you look back at the 40s and 50s when television first started getting going and, cartoons were in their infancy, it wasn't the children running around, playing cops and robbers, playing cowboys and Indians. Very politically incorrect game at the present time, but it's a historical fact that kids played it. I wonder if even cops and robbers is allowed anymore. Just a side thought. But if you notice, the children are not really being influenced by it. I mean, sure, everybody has tied a towel around their neck and tried to be Superman, but you're not really going to be able to fly. Or if you do, maybe you jump down a couple stairs and, smack your leg up and decide that's a bad idea. But those of us with G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, none of which are sponsors to this show, although I wouldn't mind some of that couple $1 billion cash the Transformers franchise has. The point is, none of us went out and thought that we were transforming robots. We didn't turn into Mario from Super Mario World, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many there were, and decide to go down sewers and try to step on turtles because they might have been the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We knew they would have kicked our butts. Now, that's not really the reason, but it's more entertaining that way. TV influences adults to a far greater degree than it does to children. Children do want passive entertainment. Adults demand it. Think about it. We just went through the slap herd around the world in the last 2 days. Baseball playoffs are coming up soon. Or is it the Spring League? Or whatever. I don't know. That's how I'd have touched in with that sort of stuff. So, there's going to be some people who are glued to their couch for the remainder of the year, and they're going to live and die with their Milwaukee Brewers, their Toronto Blue Jays, their New York Yankees, whatever it is. The NFL is starting to heat up again. The NHL are just coming into their playoffs. All this is happening, and we've seen these sports addicts. Oh, I got to get home. I got to get to the bar. I got to get to somewhere that I can watch the game. You're the ones being influenced, not your children. And of course, every single one of these guys thinks they are the ones that could have been the next great hockey player. Maybe not all, but a fair degree of them say, "Oh, that could have been me." You are living the fantasy far more than our children are. When you look back at the early programming with the Honeymooners, I'm going to pick on the Honeymooners, what the hell? Where Ralph Cramden is telling his wife Alice, "Pow, zoom to the moon." That was a reflection of real life. Men were beating their wives. It was a tragedy. But nobody did anything about it because it was the way things were done. And thus, in the modern age, we have to watch what's on our TV. Game of Thrones. First season was a disaster. I cannot figure out how people tuned in for season 2. All it was this person sleeping with this person sleeping with this person. I don't want to watch that. If I want to watch that, there's places on the internet I can go get that. And that's really what the modern age is about. The TV is a substitute for intimacy, both in a physical and a spiritual sense. So what we have to do is, instead of projecting our fears on our children and worried that Mighty Mouse sniffing a flower is an allegory for cocaine, no, I'm not lying, go look it up. We should look what's on our own TVs, because chances are our children are around when we're watching it. And they're not imitating Mighty Mouse. They're imitating Goodfellas. They're imitating The Sopranos. They're imitating what they see that we are watching. So the best censorship program you can have for your children is yourself. Just like me, when I heard the lyrics of, oh, you should all commit suicide, blah, blah, I forget what it was. I got the tablet right away, blocked the channel, and maybe it was a public service announcement. I don't know. I mean, Viva la Dirt League is doing some mental health stuff right now that I think is pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. And you know what? Maybe I did do a disservice to my little one. But on the other hand, I know she's got a difficult road ahead, and I never want her to have to face that through a YouTube video. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please hit like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to buy the merchandise, which are the books listed in the link down below. And we hope you have a fantastic day.